What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024, and we are back with another midday stream here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Make sure to hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Shout out to all of the members here on the channel. Shout out to everybody on Patreon. Oh, and if you are on Patreon, the announcement for the upcoming True Crime Sunday is going to go out tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll find out who it's going to be on. And for those who are not subscribed to the Patreon, y'all will find out who it's on Saturday at 12 noon, which is approximately 24 hours before I actually do the stream over there on Patreon for the upcoming True Crime Sunday on this upcoming Sunday, the 21st. But before we go ahead and get into everything, let me go ahead and acknowledge the people who are here so far in the chat. We have Grape Shot, Hacksign KT, Miriam R, Raging Woody 74, Ken Lee, Joseph Washington, I am 6, Brooklyn Queen 125, Denise Scales, Wallow J, Mike Mellis, John Reparations Nations, Andre DSB, Urban Green, Xavier, The Robert Spot, Nasaj. What's going on? LOM, Cosima Fury, Elisham 13, Fireback, Kane, the Bad Guy, Bills Fan 1970, Mike Santana, Palace A, Ty C. Rowland, Anita Harrell, 69 Candles, Nell, EMC, Shermaine, Callahan, Victorio, and that is it so far. Oh, and Savion, what's going on? Okay, so y'all can see by the title that we are going to be talking about the Gladiator II trailer. I'm not going to play it on here. I'm only going to assume that everyone in here, for the most part, probably has already seen the trailer, but it's been out for about a week now. Probably a little over a week now. And of course, it's the sequel to the 2000 film Gladiator. And it has Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, and a few other faces in there as well. But the trailer ended up getting mass disliked or quote unquote review bombed all over the place, mainly on YouTube for the most part. At least that's where I've been seeing it, because of one thing in particular, or at least that's what they're claiming it to be as one thing in particular. What's going on, True Royal? And that one thing being the music, because the song choice that they use is a hip hop song. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with Gladiator, that's going back with Roman, like in the Roman times. And now they're upset because they decided to use a hip hop song in the trailer. And that's why they decided we're going to go and mass dislike this. I've said this so many times before, and I'm going to say it right now. Dislikes do not translate to dollars. They tend to do that every single time when there is a particular demographic, us, showing up in trailers or in certain movies, and then say, ha ha ha, we masked this like this. And they love doing that to Disney films. They love doing that to Disney films. I remember what they did when it came to the live action Little Mermaid last year. And they said, ha ha ha, we masked this like this. This movie's not going to make no money. And then the movie made almost $500 million over Memorial Day weekend, which is very hard to do considering that that's a huge travel period right there. So, and these are the same ones that be, and I'm sure some of you may have heard when they say go woke, go broke, they love to say that too, but it never works. It's funny and interestingly enough, because what was the biggest movie that came out last year as far as money goes? Barbie. Who saw it coming? I'm going to be honest, I didn't see it coming, even though, yes, we know a movie like that has a history because of the Barbie doll. But still. But this is anything for them to make themselves feel good. I'm like, all y'all doing is basically giving the movie more press. And the movie does come out in November. I think it comes out around Thanksgiving. So now it has a holiday that it can sit itself in, which makes it eligible to make more money. And besides, it has Denzel Washington. People, black people going to flock to see it regardless. I know that for a fact because it's Denzel. But let me go ahead now and share the screen, and I'm going to show you one of the articles that was written up on this website called NME. And it was written on July 15th, which was 2 days ago. And the title reads, "The Gladiator II trailer is getting review bomb." Let me get this ad up out here. It's getting review bomb, and here's why. And the trailer debuted last week. This is giving me the same vibes that they gave when it came to the GTA 6 trailer, when that came out last year. The same thing happened when they released the trailer for the new Assassin's Creed game, which ironically comes out the same month. So you got the Assassin's Creed game coming out in November, and this movie's coming out in November too. But I think Assassin's Creed comes out November 15th, and this comes out November 22nd. So they're like about a week apart, interestingly enough, which I'm sure both of them are going to sell well. It says the recent trailer for Gladiator 2 has been review bombed by viewers for a number of reasons. The first look at the sequel to the 2000 epic was unveiled last week, showcasing stars Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, and Denzel Washington in action. However, the preview has received thousands of dislikes alongside its many likes, and there are a number of major reasons why. According to comments, one reason for the backlash in the trailer is the trailer seemingly giving many of the film's key elements away. Things start to veer into more problematic territory in regards to comments over the choice of music, notably the use of No Church in the Wild by Jay-Z and Kanye West. As some question the use of a rap song in the film about the Roman Empire, the song itself includes the lyrics "Tears on the mausoleum floor, blood stains on the causoleum doors." When I first saw the trailer and I heard that song in there, I said I knew right off the bat, just based off of history and seeing how PC gets down and how easily they get triggered, that when I heard that song, and it didn't even have to be that song, it was just the fact that it was a rap song. When I heard that, I knew right off the bat they was going to be pecking away at that keyboard, almost about to pluck the keys off of it to say whatever and say, I disliked it. I swear they wear that dislike button or pushing that dislike button like it's a badge of honor, like they did something so profound. Combined with some asking why Washington uses a New York accent in the film, even while most characters use the historically inaccurate British accent in a film set in ancient Rome, the actor's inclusion altogether, things get quite toxic with further comments being racist. And that's another thing. They got upset because Denzel Washington didn't use an accent that was suitable for the film. And that's another reason why they said they got upset. The reason they say. And shout out to Savion for being a member of the channel for 8 months. He says they hate for the dumbest reason. Well, let me correct you, dumbest reasons, because it's plural. It's never just one. But I do appreciate the comment and the continued membership. I appreciate it. Gladiator II will see Ridley Scott return as director and will focus on a grown-up Lucius, the nephew of Joaquin Phoenix's character Commodus in the first film. Gladiator II continues the epic saga of power, intrigue, and vengeance set in ancient Rome. The synopsis reads: years after witnessing the death of the revered hero Maximus at the hands of his uncle, Lucius is forced to enter the Colosseum after his home is conquered by the tyrannical emperors who now lead Rome with an iron fist. With rage in his heart and the future of the empire at stake, Lucius must look to his past to find strength and honor to return to the glory of Rome to its people. The trailer includes a number of big battle sequences, including Mescal's character fighting a rhinoceros, as well as a sea battle. Pascal recently opened up about filming the movie action sequences, admitting that he would rather be thrown from a building than fight Mescal again, and the movie is set to release globally on November 22nd. So that's their reasoning. So the first one, of course, is the music. The other one is saying they feel like the trailer is giving a few things away, and the other one is because of Denzel's lack of what they would deem to be a Roman accent. So as you can see, 2 out of the 3 complaints lean heavily on the black side of things. But I decided to take this a little bit further. But first, I'm gonna show you all a screenshot. So I don't know if this is how it looks now. I think it actually is kind of recent. So what y'all are looking at on your screen is a screenshot. And see, the thing is, now that YouTube turned the dislike meter off, it's kind of hard to get this. I don't know what you would have to do in order to access the likes and the dislikes. I have to ask KG how he does it, because I know he knows how to do it. But this right here is a screenshot from the official Paramount Pictures YouTube channel. And I want to say this might have been last week, because when I went and looked at the trailer before I got started with this stream, the likes was at 152,000. So it didn't go up that much. But look at the dislikes, 350,000 dislikes, which means if it's at 152K now, this number, the dislike, is probably well over 400,000 or close to it. And they feel so, I swear, like I tell you, they feel like they have achieved something when they do this. And I always say, dislikes do not translate to dollars. I also don't think many of them have gotten over the fact that if y'all forgot that Denzel Washington is cast to play Hannibal in a movie that's going to be directed by Antoine Fuqua. I remember the backlash behind that too, but you know, a lot of them don't know history, and a lot of them bastardize their own history. So there's that. That's the screenshot right there. So I said, let me go ahead and take this a step further, because I said, I find it interesting that they're getting upset because of hip hop music is in there. And I decided to go on to Google and I just typed in a simple question: who is the biggest demographic when it comes to rap music? And it actually led me to this piece written by a person named Janice Blackshear at the University of Georgia back in 2007. Now, what I'm about to read to you is no surprise to us. As a matter of fact, I think many of us already knew this. I knew this. It says, this study, first of all, let me read the title. Understanding the white mainstream appeal of hip hop music. Is it a fad or is it the real thing? Now, again, this is back in 2007. This study explores why young, white, suburban adults are consumers and fans of hip hop music, considering it is a Black cultural art form that is specific to Black Americans. While the hip hop music industry is predominantly Black, studies consistently show that over 70% of its consumers are white. Again, this is 2007, y'all. And to be honest with you, this has not changed much since then. Of course, you know, the atmosphere was a little bit different back in 2007 compared to 2024, but it really hasn't changed. And I'm going to show you what I mean as I continue to go forward. It says through focus group data, this thesis revealed that hip hop music is used by white listeners as a means for negotiating social group memberships such as race and class. More importantly, the findings also contribute to the more public debate and dialogue that has plagued Black music, offering further evidence that white appropriation of Black cultural artifacts such as jazz music remains a constant, particularly in the case of hip hop. While the findings are not generalizable to all young white suburban consumers of this genre of music, it may be inferred that a white racial identity does not help this group of consumers relate to hip hop music. This is a piece written back in 2007. This was ironically the year that I graduated high school in my freshman year of college. I was 18 or about to turn 18 because it's spring 07, so I'm not sure when in the spring this was written. If it was before May 4th, I was 17. If it was after, I was 18. So there's that part right there. Then let's go to this article right here that was written by the Atlanta Black Star back in 2014. And it says, when it comes to rap music, are white boys really doing all the buying? So now I'm asking, who's consuming who's most of it? And ironically, they had to have a picture of Eminem up there to just let you know that this is probably where the influx of them purchasing or really consuming it really came from. Because there has been, of course, white people in hip hop throughout the years before Eminem was a thing. It's just that he was the only one that stayed. Though the music industry has long perpetuated the notion that the overwhelming majority of buyers of rap music are white males, the truth is the rap industry is not staying afloat on a sea of white male dollars. Back in 1991, Newsweek did a cover story on gangster rap that proclaimed 80% of hip hop's audience was white. That article sparked the firestorm of attention, but the public began accepting the number as fact. Adding gasoline to the flame, around the same time, Ice-T came out and attributed anything above his usual album sales of 750,000 to white kids. So he's saying, this is Ice-T. He said that one of his biggest selling albums that he ever came out with was due to, in part, because the majority of the sales were white kids that bought it. Now you got to think, when Ice-T was rapping, that was back in what? The early 90s. At a time when it wasn't really, it was starting to become mainstream. What can we say about the veracity of the 80% claim? In 2004, MediaMark Research Incorporated estimated that closer to 60% of rap music consumers were white. While that's still substantial, it's much lower than the rumored 80% that has been floating around for over 20 years. Of the approximately 64 million Americans between age 15 and 30, about 73% of them are white. So if 60% of rap consumers were white in 2004, they represented a significantly lower number than their share of the population, meaning the blacks and Hispanics and remaining 40% were significantly higher than their share of the overall U.S. population. In other words, whites were underrepresented among rap consumers and blacks and Hispanics were overrepresented. And I believe that was definitely by design, because that means the numbers weren't completely accurate. I don't know if I told y'all this or not, but I remember it was a Kendrick Lamar concert that I was working years ago. And the majority of the people in that crowd were PC. You had some other groups mixed up in there. And then there was, of course, some black people up in there. But it was a lot of PC up in there. Have the percentages changed much in the decade since MRI's estimate? It doesn't appear as if anyone has undertaken an investigation. That's probably because the music industry is now more preoccupied with a different question. Is anyone buying rap or anything else? We are in the midst of a catastrophic decline in record sales. Total music sales went down the first time ever from 2012 to 2013, falling 6.3%, according to The Atlantic. The history of the data collection makes one wonder how in 1991, when there were no devices tracking race and record sales, did they come up with that number of 80% and why they were allowed to release it as fact. The answer: media corporations needed a marketing tool to justify ad revenue for top 40 stations. Industry experts will remember that in the 80s and 90s, so-called black stations weren't playing rap in regular rotation, and if they did, it was only on the weekends. Black radio programmers claimed this was because of the effect on their advertisers. When a black station played just rap, it wasn't long before it went off the airwaves. Noticing the lack of hip-hop on the radio, a lot of top 40 stations began adding it to their rotation. The difference was these top 40 stations could keep their ad revenue up while playing the same amount, if not more, rap than an urban station. Hip hop was now being included in the top 40, making its way to every suburban middle school dance and frat party around the country. According to the Hip Hop and Politics.com, advertisers have a very specific hierarchy of demographics they wish to reach. White males between the ages of 18 and 34 first, then white males between 25 and 54, white women 25 to 34, women of color 25 to 34, followed by white teens eventually landing on black males. This is largely due to the assumption that in America, white males have the most disposable income. Buying into the notion that only white kids buy rap music is not only ridiculous, it discredits an entire population. And this is, I think that we're playing a game of racial politics when we say that white kids buy most rap music, says Bakari Kitwana, author of Why White Kids Love Hip Hop, Wanksters, Wiggers, and Wannabes, and the New Reality of Race in America. It's suggesting that the buying power of young black Americans is not as substantial as it is. As is evidence in many other industries that cater to young people, such as clothing, sneakers, and video games, black young people are a potent consumer group. The advertisers who notice this the quickest are being rewarded with consumer loyalty and noticeable increases in revenue, just as Nike. So there's that article right there. The last thing I'm going to show y'all is, it was a question that I had asked on Google. I was saying, what is the most popular genre of music in America? And I came across this website called exposuremusic.com. And it was written up on January 29th, 2024. And it says hip hop and rap. According to Statista's most recent numbers, hip hop was the most streamed genre of music in the US in 2021. While these numbers may change from year to year, one thing remains clear: hip hop is one of the most popular genres in the world. It used to be an underground movement where aspiring rappers would exchange mixtapes, hoping for their talent to be recognized, and where rap fans would flock to underground clubs and bars to watch epic rap battles like the likes of 8 Mile. That's how some of the most influential rappers started their careers. Nowadays, things are a bit different thanks to the emergence of streaming platforms and social media, but also because hip hop has firmly established itself as one of the most popular and most influential music genres in history. So when you put all of that into perspective and go back to the initial point of the video of why they said that they are not liking this song or the song choice or just putting a rap song in a trailer like this anyway, and especially since they've been putting a lot of rap songs in trailers nowadays to sell the preview, or to sell the movie, I should say. It goes back to this. Because at the end of the day, who's the ones cutting these trailers? I can guarantee you right off bat is most likely not us. I've even seen people leave comments under the trailer talking about, oh, because Denzel Washington is in the trailer, because Denzel Washington is in the trailer, let's just go ahead and put a hip hop song in there because, yeah, no, that's not the case, because they can do a trailer, a whole movie trailer that doesn't have a black person in sight, and they'll still throw a hip hop song in there. I'll give y'all an example. They did a special trailer for the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie. and it was only like a minute long, and it came out like last month. It wasn't a main trailer, it was a special trailer. And in the trailer, they used Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa, but they switched the words from black and yellow to red and yellow to represent Deadpool wearing red, but it was the same beat. Last I checked, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman weren't black. And I didn't hear not one complaint. Don't get me wrong, the song actually fit because I knew what they were going for. I'm just saying. But these individuals it goes back to what I and Professor Black Truth and others have been talking about when it comes to a certain demographic. They have to find a way to try to make themselves feel triggered by every little thing. It's beyond me, y'all. But I'm gonna drop the link for y'all in the chat. Go right on ahead and come right on up. And like I said, they're gonna continue using rap songs or hip hop songs in these trailers. The way that Jordan Peele used "I Got 5 on It" for Us, that Us trailer was phenomenal. How he took a relatively recognizable hip hop song and turned it into a horror theme was genius, to the point where I use it in one of my drops whenever I post up the little copyright thing. I like when people when they take the songs like that and they remix it like that. I think that's so dope. I wish I could learn how to do that. All right, we got some people in here.
How you doing, brother Tony? How you doing, everybody in the chat? It's this fake outrage stuff is just getting old. Like this, every time a black person is in the lead for anything that they don't consider to be a black part, they get upset, and it's like, bro, like when are y'all gonna get over this, or y'all just gonna keep bitching about it? And it looks like they're just gonna keep bitching about it.
They have to have something. They have to have something to complain about. Like for instance, and I've been waiting to say this one. I said this is the perfect time to do it. So as y'all know, or those of y'all who are subscribed to my channel, I did myself and a few others did a live review of that show Supercell that's on Netflix, and hopefully they get greenlit for a second season and have more episodes, where it's an all black cast that has superpowers, and they related to sickle cell. Very genius concept. I have not seen one of these channels that love to scream out woke this and woke that. Oh, they need to create original black characters and stop race swapping. I haven't seen not one of them do one review of that show. Not a reaction, not a review, none of it. Because it goes against their point. It goes against their talking point. They could have easily said that way they can somewhat look like they have some kind of a balance, but they wouldn't even bring themselves to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't seen many white YouTubers talk about that show. Mainly everyone who I've seen talk about that show were black. Whether they talked about the show whether they talked about the show in its entirety, or if they review or did reactions.
They probably don't fit their. They probably have watched the show. I don't know. We don't know if they actually watched the show, but they probably looked at it. But it's like they get upset. It's like, bro, y'all know we do stuff better than y'all. It ain't nothing to brag about. It's just what we do. Mm-hmm. They know that. Anything and everything we do, we just do better. They know they love hip hop just as much or more than we do. I mean, hey, you saw everybody saw what was it, Malibu Most Wanted?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there. Like, hell, it's a woman on TikTok. TikTok that does dancing and stuff about how much she loves hip hop back in the day, like a '90s baby, if I'm not mistaken. It's a white mom up there dancing and all this. I'm like, bro, like, don't act like y'all don't like our shit. It's it's comical at this point. Like, we know y'all like our swag. Just go ahead and admit it. Like, it is what it is. But I'm gonna land my plane, Torian, for B1, man.
B1. Yeah, and Christopher, I actually saw that they already started their hate bombing for Brave New World. Listen, they started doing that the day that they saw Endgame and saw old Cap give Sam Wilson that shield at the end of the Endgame. I knew what was in store then, and then they came out with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they tried to hate bomb on that too. So I knew that was coming, and they dropped the trailer for it, and and still doing the same thing. And the thing is, I was going to do a stream on that, but I was trying to gather like the comments, but I couldn't find them for some reason. I don't know if I'm typing in the wrong words on X or not, because that was going to be a separate stream talking about that too. All right, next up we got Cosmo. What's going on?
Hey, what's good, man? And speaking of Falcon and Winter Soldier, the part everything went, they lost their shit was when he gave that speech at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And the costume saying we need to do better. He was like, I'm a black man with stars and stripes on. That whole speech, oh, that was too woke. Oh, was it? Was it? That whole show was based on Sam not being respected. Steve Rogers' final request not being respected because Sam was a black man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that whole show basically was. That's why he gave the shield in initially, because he ain't want to fight it. And then he saw what Isaiah Bradley went through, which you saw him in the trailer. He saw him take shots at Ross and jump out the window. I can't wait to see that.
Right.
But speaking of this type of thing, look at the whole situation. I think I said it in the comment section. Mortal Kombat 11. Remember that first trailer. 21 Savage. Now I don't care about 21 Savage's music. I think he sucks. But the complaint started. This doesn't fit in Mortal Kombat. What is this doing here? This is what kind of. I'm like, what? Excuse me. And don't you know that Ed Boon uses that he uses music like this all the time. And then on top of that, I didn't hear them complain one thing when I heard DNA in the Aftermath trailer. That's the expansion to it. You heard them use Kendrick Lamar DNA.
Yeah.
I ain't had no complaints, which is strange for some reason. I don't know. But I'm so sick of them always trying to have this whole thing about they try to find other slick things to say rather than saying the obvious out loud, because we already know what it is. Don't play in our face. We know.
Exactly.
It frustrates me a little bit, but then it makes me laugh a lot more because I'm like, you guys are. It's like Kid Gravity said, you guys are cowards. You talk tough behind the internet, but you realize now that the blue check thing is on X and you don't want to lose that. So you find other slick ways to say stuff. But that's all I got to say about the situation, because I don't want to ramble on too long. I know other people are here. But thank you for having me up, man.
No problem. Shout out to Cosmo for coming up. Next up, we got Joseph. What's going on?
Salute, Tarian. Salute to the chat room. I have been missing a couple of lives. Taking care of a few things, but I'm happy to be back on. And can it be made known that the hate bombers are secretly fans of our culture?
Yeah.
Because it's like every time a new project comes out and it involves us, it involves someone black of distinguished and reputable talent, it's just like clockwork. Like they clock in at like 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whatever time said trailer comes out, they just hate bomb like they're punching in, getting ready for work.
Mm-hmm.
So to the hate bombers listening, it's okay to come out and say, you love our culture that much. I mean, we're not gonna bite unless you say something slick, and we can't control, the repercussions of that. But it's like you said on X, we are the trendsetters of the world.
Yeah.
And that post you put up with Trump trying to bastardize the Black Power fist for his campaign. When I saw that, I said, "Wow."
Yeah, I'm gonna do a stream about that probably on Saturday, because on Friday I'm gonna go live talking about the whole incident that happened. More so, I want to really focus on the person who did it because I've seen a lot of people focus on the actual incident itself, but I want to focus more on the person that's behind it because some more stuff came out about it. That's why I like to wait when stuff like this happens instead of like jumping the gun. Well, no pun intended. To talk about stuff like that because it's always going to be updates that come out throughout the week when it as it relates to that. And I'm sure you probably may or may not heard, but there was some person that they got outside of the RNC. Was it yesterday? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about that on Friday.
By the way, on the record, I will be sure to be the first in line to see Brave New World for Captain America, Gladiator II, basically anything, because these corporations know that Black people are ultimately the money makers. Look at the Bad Boys franchise.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for having. Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
I said it's now $1 billion franchise.
Yep, and still growing, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me up. I'm gonna stay locked into the chat room.
No problem. Thanks for coming up. Shout out to Joseph for coming up. And next we have Xavier. What's going on? Oh snap! I think Xavier. I think you froze because I'm looking at your screen. It looks like you froze. Damn. Yeah, your screen froze, Xavier. My bad. But yeah, they like I said, they find any little thing to be quote unquote outraged over. Oh, I think he's back. I think he had to start up again. What's going on?
Hey, Torian. Sorry about the call came in my phone, so I kept dropping out. Be one, brother. I've been missing your lives these last couple of days. It's been rough out here, but it is what it is.
No problem.
I saw the notification for this. I saw the notification for this video for the trailer, and I just had to go watch. I didn't even know it's been out for a week, and man, I loved it. I mean, yeah, it seems like I questioned the need for a sequel to a movie like Gladiator, but after seeing the trailer, I was like, this looks great. And Denzel, I mean, he's a powerhouse. You can't go wrong with Denzel. He hardly ever has a movie that flops. Maybe like one in his entire career. I think the one where he was a pilot that didn't do so well, but for the
Flight.
most part, yeah, I think it was Flight. But other than that, all his movies are like big hits. So him being in this movie isn't even the problem. And it's weird that people haven't realized that actors like Denzel, they never change their accents for a role. I don't think I've ever seen Denzel do like a different accent other than his natural accent. Maybe he just changes the like his cadence, but he doesn't do accents. There are actors like that. I mean, Jason Statham never does accents. I think Liam Neeson hardly does accents. There are a bunch of them that I don't know if it's a contract thing or something, but they never do like different accents, especially if they don't think they can pull it off naturally. So them bitching about that is weird on its face. It's just you could tell that. I think someone else mentioned that like they were just looking for something to get mad about the trailer, and I didn't mind the song either. Like the song, yeah, I'm not really the biggest Kanye fan these days, but that song was a hit, and it actually fit the mood of the trailer in my opinion. So I mean, when I went to the comments of the trailer, I saw how people were like, "Oh, they didn't want to pick Hans Zimmer. That like the I don't know. Hans Zimmer said he didn't want to do the movie or something like that. Because Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for the original, the first movie. So I was like, y'all give it a rest. Like again, that song made the trailer all the more badass. Denzel being in it made it all the more badass. And y'all hate it because it's you can't face the truth. And when this movie comes out, I'm definitely going to go out and see it because
Mhm.
again, I love me some Denzel. And it's definitely not going to. I doubt he's going to disappoint. I highly doubt that.
Yeah, that's it. One
It's
thing. One thing I said about Denzel is that you could put Denzel in any movie.
hmm
The movie could be bad, but his performance is going to be great.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And that even in this
Uh oh.
usually for sequels like this, I am always a bit.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of froze
Yeah,
on
with sequels like this. Oh, okay. I was saying with sequels like this, I'm always a bit um, skeptical about it because again, this is a movie that could have stood on its own forever and didn't require a sequel. But I mean, if they thought that a sequel could work in this case, if they had a good story, and obviously, I mean, they're focusing. They didn't do something stupid like bring back Russell Crowe from the dead, and they just went with his son, which makes sense. So if they have a good story, if the writing is great, then by all means go for it. And again, Denzel's a winner. He brings the seasoning in what would have probably been a bland sequel. So I'm here for it. And
definitely.
they obviously these guys are hiding. They're just hiding they're showing. They're always showing their racism and then claiming that racism doesn't exist because we all know they don't need to tell us that they don't like that hippity hop or they don't like why is Denzel in ancient Rome. I mean, for crying out loud, y'all make fantasy movies all the time. It's not like Gladiator was based on a true story. Yeah, it had like true, like it had real life or true to history facts about it, but it was it was a fabricated story, so you could do whatever they want with it. And then yeah, last thing I would say, right? The whole thing about the accent thing is funny because for years we've had to listen to them like every Roman movie, ancient Roman movie we've seen,
Hmm.
on most of them, they always have this British accent. Every single one. They never do like a period accurate accent. But these same clowns will never they'll never complain about that. But once it's a black guy doing that accent, like his own natural accent, oh my god. Why can't you be like the Romans? Y'all weren't even in Rome. Come on, are you kidding me? You don't know what they sounded like. Nobody knows what they sounded like. So you have creative license to do whatever the hell you want with the license. They're just nitpicking, and it's sad and pathetic. But anyways, that's my last take on this. And can't wait for this movie to come out so I can see exactly uh, if I mean how good it is for real. Yeah,
No
thanks
problem.
for letting me on and be one to the family.
B1. B1. All right. Shout out to Xavier for coming up, everyone, and to everybody who came up. But that is going to bring this stream to a close. Shout out to everybody that came up. I'm glad that everybody came through for this midday. I feel like it's been a while since I did a midday stream, to be quite honest with you. I can't remember the last one that I did. Maybe it was last week. I'm not sure. But shout out to all those who came up. Shout out to Savion for contributing. Being a member of the channel. I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, we will be back here tomorrow. Of course, I got the premiere video, and we're going to do another midday stream tomorrow as well. Now, y'all really going to enjoy the one tomorrow. The one tomorrow is going to be about that mayor. Well, she's about to be probably former mayor at this point of Oakland, the one who had the raid on her house. Man, she is in some deep, you know what. As a matter of fact, I think that's the name of the title of the stream. So we're going to be talking about that. And shout out to Rob because he was the one that suggested that that I talk about that. And everyone who's on Patreon, y'all will find out tomorrow what the True Crime Sunday topic is going to be for this upcoming Sunday. And also, y'all, I have a new outro drop because I said I want to send y'all whenever I end the stream. I want to send y'all off on a good note. Y'all are probably going to laugh at this when y'all see it, but let me go ahead and play it